Hey Dave, this is Manny Marino with Do Wood Son out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Here is your Ohio State chair. So this was a fun project. Again, thank you for the opportunity, and yeah, this was a great chair. So I will spend the next few minutes on this video kind of talking to you about the chair itself, maintenance, stain, all that stuff, and then I'll take a few minutes and pause the video and completely disassemble the chair, so that way you can see kind of the steps on how to put it together to make things really easy. And I'll walk you through the whole process. So as far as the chair, again, it's made out of redwood cedar, so you don't have to worry about rot or absorbing moisture. The chair is stained in golden pecan, so that'll be important for you to know in a couple years if you want to restain it. You could use the same one. As far as like the laser etching, I mean, the Ohio State part turned out really great. Great design. I might recommend using what they call a spar urethane. It's a crystal clear like gloss. Sorry, that's got rubbed off. It's milky when you first put it on. It's white, and I might recommend putting it just on the logo and also on your on the front board, just to protect the burn a little bit more. But it'll give it a shine, like a shiny look to it. I'm not sure if you like that or just like the natural look. So some customers prefer not having it, just again because it's made out of redwood cedar, so you don't have to worry about it rotting and all of that. So yeah, so this is your chair. I will disassemble. I'll pause the video here in a second here and disassemble it, and then carry, and then pick it right back up on the process of putting it back together. Yeah. Hey Dave, so here's your chair kind of semi taken apart, but this is a good framework and kind of a good place to start. So the first thing you're going to do is when you get all your pieces, I want you to assemble the seat first, right? So you're going to have your two 2x6s, right? So the holes are already pre-drilled for the lag bolts, front and back, right? So start with your front legs, and I'm going to have everything labeled underneath, right? Right as you're looking at the chair, right and left. So everything will be marked on the right side underneath. So first, go ahead and put on your seat slats, right? So starting with number 1 is your first one. Lay it on a flat surface. Put your first one in. Every single one of these seat boards is going to take a 2-inch torque screw, which I'll include the hardware. And then the thing I recommend is all the holes are going to be pre-drilled or countersunk and pre-drilled. So all you have to do is just go right to the top. Not necessary to go all the way through it, but I always like to keep the top of the torque screw flush with the top of the wood. So you're going to put your slats on first, right? Step number 1 through 7, and I have these numbered 1 through 7, starting from the front, going all the way to the back right side. The second step is to add your 2 front legs, right? So it's going to be right and left. Again, I'll have these already marked. This is already comes together with the arm support, and the holes are already drilled and plugged in. So that's what's keeping this piece on there. So again, right and left. The other part is the back brace, right? So this is going to be right and left again, and that goes back here. And it's maybe hard to see in the video, but I technically have it marked of where this should land, right? And then on the outside, these holes are already pre-drilled, and it'll come with wood plugs. So I recommend going all the way through when you screw them in, enough to allow room for the, I think, 1/4-inch wood plugs that'll come in the bag. So 1 through 7, your back brace, your front legs with the 9/16 bolt, and it goes lag bolt, washer, lock nut, nut. So that'll go on the front. And then if I go around to the back, your back leg's going to look like this. Again, this is assembled. but I'll have it apart, right? So this back brace that goes up against to the back of the Ohio State, this is the only short piece, right? I think it's like 22 inches long. It's as big as this back brace, but you'll be able to tell it's the only one that's not 2 feet long. And then again, underneath, I will have it labeled right and left, so you know which is up, which is down. And then again, on the back legs, I'll have them labeled right and left. And then again, they'll take the lag bolts in the back with the lock washer, lock nut, all right, on each side. And then here's the back. So your back, the back of the Ohio State is going to be all intact. When you have your 7 slats, in fact, number 7 is going to end back here. There's going to be a 1-inch gap between the back seat and the back brace, right? And that's where the tail of the Ohio State back is going to slip right in. And so if I were to pick it up, it's kind of tough to do with one hand, and that slips in there, you're going to have your 6 screws that go on the bottom. And then on the back, on the back, this is where that back brace is going to fit, right? And again, these are already pre-drilled. The back brace is already pre-drilled, so you just got to align it up. And then the other thing that I've done for you, I'm going to just go back here again. I have, on the back of this brace, I've actually positioned and marked in a pencil where to align the back brace, right? So that's going to fit directly center and in between these 2 markings. So that way, when you're screwing in the torque bits from the back brace to the back of the back, it aligns perfect, right? And the other thing to be super mindful of, so everything on this chair is going to take 2-inch screws. The back brace is going to take the 1.25 inches. And so only go like 1/16 of an inch deep here, because you want to make sure you're not going to the back of the back, if that makes sense, right? And then the last thing that you'll put on are your arms, right? And your arms sit on top. Again, I'll have them marked underneath, right and left, and they get screwed from the top down. Sorry, I'm on a bench. And you're going to have 2-inch screws that are gold. The gold ones are going to go in the back here only, and they're thinner. So I just kind of did it over time, because the bigger, grittier ones have a tendency to break these off because there isn't a lot of space. So go very slow. In fact, sometimes I leave it 1/4 of an inch higher. So when you screw these in first, start with the back one, but leave it 1/4 of an inch higher. Don't countersink it all the way, and then put your front ones. And the thing with the front ones is they're already, again, pre-drilled, and they'll come with wood plugs. So go at least 1/4 of an inch into the hole, and then I'll include some sawdust. So fill in the hole with sawdust, and then put your wood plugs and tap it in with the rubber mallet. And that's how you do your front arms, right? And then the last thing about when you screw in the seats, get your all your bolts on. Don't tighten it until the very end, right? So make sure everything is just kind of secured in there first. You tighten the bolts, finger tight at first. Put in your arms, make sure those are in there secure, and then I would go ahead and tighten everything up. So it's a straightforward process as far as like putting it together. I'll just recap very quickly. When you get it, separate the right and left, which you're going to be able to tell because I've marked right and left. Slats 1 through 7. Your back brace, and as you're assembling the seat together, make sure that this is kind of squeezed tight because that fits in there. 1 through 7 all the way. Then you put on your front legs, your back legs, and then you have to attach the back brace in between the back legs. And you're going to be able to tell which one are the back legs because they're the ones that are cut on the angle. So again, I'll have those marked right and left so you know which ones goes on the right side. and that's your back brace. And then the next piece is you can put in your arms first or before you put in your back. So that's fine because there's enough space here where you can just slip in the back. In fact, I prefer that you do that. So seat, front legs, back legs along with the back brace, then your arms, and then your seat goes in last. And just remember that on the front of the Ohio State, you're going to have some screws underneath. I call that the tail, and that those get screwed in. So that's pretty much how you put it together. If you have any issues, Dave, just call me or FaceTime me if you'd like, and we can kind of walk you through the process. But again, I will put this in a box right now and ship it nice, and I'll text you the tracking number here shortly and tell you what the bill is for the shipping. Again, thank you so much, Dave, for the opportunity in the Ohio State, my very first one, believe it or not. So I hope to do many more after posting this on Facebook. And yeah, just give me the green light once you say it's okay to post, and maybe tag you on Facebook, and feel free to share. I'll throw in some business cards along with the hardware. Let me know if any of this stuff is confusing or went too fast, or I can always use the feedback on making this a better process for anyone to assemble these together. So that's pretty much it, Dave. Thank you so much, and we'll wait for the chair door ride. Thank you.